Welcome to the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, Aaron connects melodies and memories with fans and artists from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, only music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your host for the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast, Aaron Shriver.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's be a good night tonight. It's be a good show. I'm excited. So how's everybody doing tonight? So go ahead, log in. If you guys could share the feed, I'm definitely excited for tonight. Just to chat once with our guest, because I have not been able to chat with her for a little bit of time because it's been a crazy year and we've all been busy. So I'm definitely excited for that, but it's just gonna be a great night. So, but before we start it off, welcome to episode 45 of the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast. This is a place where we connect melodies and memories with both fans, artists, and some of the most interesting people in and around the music community. I'm your host, Aaron Shriver, tonight, and we are presented, as you saw at the top of the show, once again by our good friends at Arlo Revolution, cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos. You can find them all over Facebook, arlorevolution.com, YouTube. Go check them out. Seriously, if you guys are not going on and check them out yet, subscribe to them for me on YouTube and just check out some of the music videos they've done for this guy, Ryan Olson out of Nashville. Awesome performer. So, and also to Art on the Higher Wire by Joel, original and custom artwork inspired by your life moments, treasured photos, and memories. Find them on Facebook, and Corey Oliphant and the OC. We are happy to have Corey, the original choir, on as a sponsor. We thank each of them for their continued support each and every show. But if you guys are looking for any other way to kind of help our show out, Patreon is definitely our bloodline. I mean, it's our main spot of this show is kind of like where we pay the bills. I gotta say, is Patreon, but it helps us kind of get from week to week. And definitely thank you guys for kind of hopping on over there. Tiers start at just $1. Our current goal is at 75 Patreons. We're 5 away, so we're currently right now at 70. So hopefully by the end of the month, I'm trying to reach that goal of 75. Then I'm gonna do something cool after that. I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet, but I definitely want to do something cooler, like a big giveaway or something crazy. We'll have fun. You know me, I like to get crazy at times. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in the chat tonight. If you are watching live, drop in the chat the link for our Patreon. Check it out. Unfortunately, we were not gonna have an after show this week, but we'll have those back next week. I promise you on that. But it's Patreon something you can't do tonight. Like, share, and subscribe anywhere and everywhere you can for the show. The biggest being over at Apple Podcast, reviews, YouTube subscriptions, and sharing the live stream tonight. If you are listening to this back on our streaming sites on iHeart or anything else, we are live every Tuesday at night, now at 7 p.m. So we bumped it up an hour starting this week. So, Tanya, no, I see you having a rough day. Sorry, but that's another good reason why we're live. So it is good that we're here and we could kind of bring you a good night, because it's gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be a good show and keep you a little entertained tonight. But I want to thank you guys. I mean, we're gonna share all of our links, all the fun stuff. But I gotta thank everybody for the support and the growth of this show, and to see where it is. We almost had our busiest month. I think our busiest month has been around 400 downloads in 1 month on the streaming side. And we got to like 375 this month or last month in July. So it was just really cool to see how we have been growing and just evolving as a show. So I'm getting ready to start booking for season 3. So if anybody out there has any idea of guests or anybody you want to see on this show, tag them in the comments tonight and I'll go back through and check it out. And we'll definitely send them some invites. Artists, fans, could be anybody. Just tag them. Tell me why you want to see them on the show or send me a message. So I'd love to see them. So before we bring on our guest and we dig into all the fun stuff, we were talking about Patreon, and I got to pull a little winner. So what's up, Lee? So this month, we are giving away a $25 gift card for Jack Daniels, a $25 gift card for Chief Merch, and another autographed copy of The Divine Devils by Jeremy Spillman. Amazing book. Oh, pick 2 names. And our winner is Leslie Hembry. I don't know if you can see the name. Probably not. It's really tiny. I need to start printing these bigger. But Leslie, amazing package. I'll reach out to you tomorrow sometime or whatever, and I'll go ahead and get all that over to you. What's up, Brian? If you guys are in the chat, go ahead and drop some names. But I'll go ahead and get rid of this, and we're gonna have some fun. You guys ready? Let's bring on our guests tonight, guys. This is going to be a fun show, but this is probably one of the toughest SOBs I've ever met in my life. So she's this amazing woman. I cannot wait to start this chat with Miss Heather Melton. What's going on? Did you get your drink? Oh, I gotta unmute you. All right, you're unmuted. There you go.
Okay. Hi.
I forgot I had you muted back there. I'm like, oh no.
I don't do well being muted.
I could tell you because Facebook's trying to, and they're not winning, are they? No.
They're trying.
We're just gonna jump right into that now. So, welcome. I've been waiting for tonight for a while because just to catch up. I know you and I have not been able to catch up or talk for a while, and
Yeah,
it's an insane year. But how you been lately?
I mean, I've been okay. I mean, honestly, the lack of travel and concerts is killing my gypsy soul. And as you know, and probably a lot of people that I've just met over the last 2 years, 3 years almost now, like y'all are my lifeline and you were my therapist and everything else. So not being able to meet up at shows is just, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I agree, because I was actually talking to my wife. That's kind of like where I go to relax or release. I mean, just kind of every emotion comes around at concerts. We laugh, we cry. I mean, we have it from everything. And
Right.
that's kind of like where you, instead of, like you said, a therapist. I mean, some people go to a therapist, lay on their couch. I go to concerts. I mean, that's just where I let go of all my stuff. So
Right.
I need that live. I don't care if it's 10,000 people, the crappiest band I've ever seen, an $18 beer. I need that.
I mean, very honestly, that is probably what saved me over the last 2 years. I'm not a therapist person, but meeting up with my people, my new friends, it was literally probably the best thing that I could do at that time, to get me through what I need to get through.
So let's throw it all the way back. So you're from California, on that area.
Yep.
What was your earliest musical inspirations you had? I mean, when you started, what was your first taste of music when you started listening?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of weird in my family, but my parents listened to a wide variety of music. They really loved like Creedence Clearwater and Simon and Garfunkel, but they also listened to like Hank and Haggard and that kind of country. I mean, I remember we had a reel-to-reel thing that they played music on, but I was really the one who sought out live music, and probably, I was born in '69. I hate to admit that, but so I was doing a lot of hair band music kind of thing in the 80s, and I was always going to concerts. And I mean, I'm in a Tesla video. I did post that on Facebook.
I have it too.
I'm definitely a rocker at heart, and it doesn't matter what genre it is. If it's good music, it's good music. And I'm willing to listen, so countries was the old country was in my life, but then it got kind of crappy to me. So then I disappeared for a while, and Sonny was the one who brought me back into the country music scene. So
and when he brought you back, I mean, how did he bring you back? I mean, what was the artist or artist that he was kind of pitching to you?
It was totally Eric, because I was like, there's these names, I don't get it. You have like Luke Bryan, Jason, they all sounded the same to me. And I was like, he's like, just listen to Eric Church. Just listen to Eric Church. He's different. You will understand once you listen to him. And I made him listen to Tesla and Def Leppard and, stuff that was made before he was born. And so we kind of shared that together. But I started listening to Eric, and I was like, it's definitely different. Like, it had a different sound. The lyrics meant something different, which has always mattered to me. Yeah. So it was, I started listening. I was like, okay, this might be something different. And he's like, don't listen to that other crap, let's listen to this. And I did. And it kind of led me on a path of finding country artists that kind of brought back some of what I grew up with, and I appreciated that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and definitely when with Eric, I mean, it's not really, you could hear in the rock side. I mean, with Driver and Cease on both sides, I try to tell people when I talk to him, if it wasn't for the twanginess in Eric's voice, it really wouldn't be much country. He would fit more the Bruce Springsteen or the singer-songwriter genre, which I think he is anyways. I mean, because he doesn't have a really a genre. I mean, even what he's releasing now off this new album so far, it's like he's coming out of left field again. But
Yeah.
I do gotta ask one quick question about this photo before I move on. So he is totally rocking a Rock of Ages.
I'm getting the sunset going on here. Sorry.
So Sonny's totally rocking a Rock of Ages shirt in this photo. Did you guys go see that? The play?
Yes, we did. I made him go see that with me in Las Vegas.
Nice.
And it was, but he knew what Bartles and James was. And I was like, come on, that was wine coolers. That was like what we did back in the day, you know? So like literally before we went to Route 91, the month before, we were in Arkansas seeing Guns N' Roses with Sturgill Simpson. So it was awesome. And
That's
he
cool.
had his life. So he was as willing, like we went to Def Leppard and Poison and Tesla, and then he would take me to Eric Church concerts, you know? So it was a mutual sharing of generations.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And yeah, Jillian and I went and saw him when they were here in Chicago, and it was one of the coolest like plays I've ever seen, or whatever it was. It was just so neat. I'm like, this is awesome. I definitely wish they'd come back around again.
I mean, it was one of the best musicals I went to because it just brought back so many of those memories of the 80s, and it just kind of encapsulated in one show. Good music too. So
And then they went with the god awful movie out of it.
yeah, the movie was not the same as the musical. So.
No, the musical was amazing. So, but so he started digging into Eric Church. He started really digging into that, and then so what were you like? Kind of like when you started listening to Eric. Did you really dig into like any like fan clubs type of stuff? You were in your 80s hair metal. I'm sure they had fan clubs then. And did you ever really dig into any of that, or?
We weren't really like hardcore. I mean, we joined the church choir, I think in probably 2015, maybe 2016 was before Holding My Own. But Sonny didn't really, like, he loved him, but he wasn't like active on Facebook pages or stuff. I kind of was the one who like got us into the fan club. And that's when we started doing more. But it's really, I mean, we tried to see him as much as we could, but we weren't in like group chats, and we weren't active and, you know, that kind of thing. And just kind of enjoyed him from Big Sandy, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And until he met me. And then I was like, you know, we can go to other places to see Eric. We don't have to wait till he's in Memphis or Nashville. We can go to other places. And I was like, yeah, it was like a new concept for him.
Yeah,
so
like, okay.
started like spreading out a little bit, you know, from that.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have got in trouble with us anyway. So
yeah, definitely.
So you probably just had to keep him away from us anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I say though all the time, like, I wish so much that the people I've met since he died had known him, and he had known y'all, because you would have like how everybody was. They liked him better than they liked me. So, you know, but he was just that person, you know, and he would have had a blast, and we would have been all over the country, just, you know, seeing different shows and doing different things. But this is all, you know.
Can you imagine what him and Johnson would have been doing together? God, the trouble those two would have got in together.
Yeah, right. There he is.
Man, I can see it now. So if anybody's kind of tuning in that really doesn't know Heather, or really doesn't know her backstory, on October 1st, 2017, Heather's entire life changed in a moment she never would have thought of. You guys were at a 3-day concert. It was day 3 of the concert, the final act, a few minutes into his set, and what sounded like maybe fireworks or pyro started. And what happened? I mean, what was your first moment when that went off?
Real, you know, and when the first shots went off, it was kind of like 3 quick shots. And I said to Sonny, I said, you know, I think that was a gun, but we're in Vegas and we got music playing. You don't know, it could be anything. And he said, no, I don't think it's a gun. Well, then the second round was like hundreds of bullets, and people started going down. And that's when Jason ran off the stage. And I said to him, I said, Sonny, let's get down. It's so surreal. You don't know really how to react, honestly. And he said, no, if we get down, we're going to get trampled, because we were pretty close to the front. And he just kind of wrapped his arms around me, and we didn't take 3 steps when he got shot. And we went down. And you don't, I mean, I've been trained in trauma. I have seen people in horrible accidents. I've seen gunshot victims. I've seen everything. But when it's somebody you love and you're in a place where you were so happy, 10 minutes before.
Wow.
It's just surreal, and you don't know, like, is this really happening, kind of feeling. So it was the most, unfortunately I can't get that out of my mind either. And I didn't know where he was shot. I just knew that he was down, and I was just screaming for somebody to help me.
Because he was behind you, and you said, I know you said before you helped.
And it was kind of on some astroturf. And I mean, honestly, it's a miracle. I mean, I could feel bullets ricocheting off the ground. It was like astroturf, concrete, dirt, whatever hitting my eyes. And the fact that we were so close and he got shot and I didn't, I still don't understand how I came out of there unscathed.
Exactly.
With the amount of rounds that were going off, and just the fact that he got hit. And I mean, I think he died pretty quickly. At least I like to believe that.
Yeah.
I don't understand how I didn't get hit. And at one point I was almost thinking, I was up giving him CPR, and I thought, if a bullet hits me, I really don't care, because I just knew in my heart that he was already gone.
Yeah. I mean, at one point I still today, I try to put myself in that situation, and you never can, because I know we were talking briefly, but if Alabama never would have happened, because Eric Church played 2 shows in Alabama probably like a month before Vegas. And there was, I know, like Taylor Hendricks, myself, and a bunch of us, we all had the tickets for Vegas. We were ready to go. And I think we all bailed because we could go see 2 shows in Alabama for the price of 1 show in Vegas. And so we all went to there. So I think there have been a lot more. But like, I remember talking to Frazee within days after that. And I still remember the first moments when my wife waking me up out of a deep sleep and shaking me and says, turn on the news. And I was like in shock and just couldn't believe that what was going on and what I saw. But after that, kind of within hours after that, you kind of became like a spokesman in a way. Sonny's name was the first one that was released out of the 58. Is it 59 now?
Yes.
They're out of the 59 now. So and then it kind of came on your shoulders to kind of be the one to kind of put it out there and really stand up for all these victims. And
well, it's really weird how it happened, like once it started getting around, people started messaging me like, are you okay? Everybody knew we were there. I'd been posting pictures.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm okay, but Sonny's not. And luckily, my best friend since 6th grade lives in Las Vegas, and her husband came and basically got me out of the hospital. We were on lockdown at that point. And because they thought it was a terrorist act and they were going to start attacking the hospitals as well. But he got me out of the hospital. And I remember I took a shower when I got back. I was literally covered in so much blood that they thought I was shot. So you're just, I'm in the shower and you just can't even wrap your brain around it. And my first thought was, I'm going to crawl in my room and go under the covers and close the door and not come out. Like, how am I going to go on with my life? And I kind of prayed about it, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do with this? And I thought, I want the world to know who was lost today. And the only person I knew was Sonny. Mm-hmm. And I don't want the shooter's name to be the main focus. I want the people who are lost to know I want the world to know who Sonny Melton was. Mm-hmm. And so I made a very conscious effort. And when the news crew, my phone was blowing up with every major network around the world to do an interview. And I decided I would do it. And it honestly sucked. And
when they asked you to do these interviews, and did you thought about it, you could be silent. And one of the reasons why I love you so damn much is because you're not silent about anything. And I love that about you. And I love that about anybody, that this is like, you know what, this is me. This is what I believe in. God damn it, I don't care what else you think. Yeah. But so you knew you had to be the voice. And I think what you did was just amazing, because you started talking, and you were kind of a voice, like I said, for the victims. And you wanted to get that name out of who the shooter was, and you wanted to get the name of those victims in everybody's faces. And I thought it was amazing that you did take charge and take reign. You shortly had others telling stories and everything after that, but yours felt like it was heartfelt. you were really the voice, and that's why I kind of said the spokesman are almost, because you're the first one that came out with your story, and it was just got us all. And I remember a couple people were like, "Oh, the minute we saw the shirt, you were wearing the shirt, I videoed it and sent it to a couple people that I knew that worked for Eric." And I was like, "Dude, turn on CNN, look at this. Eric lost a fan." And but then the choir started talking, and I know Staples got involved really fast, and everything else. We're like, "Man, she's amazing. We got to do something." And so that's when we started putting together Texas, or Staples started putting together Texas, and when you really got to meet the choir. But tell me, before kind of like the choir started really coming into your life, I mean, how was like the kind of leaving Vegas too? You said, I know, before you left with 2 suitcases and everything, and that to me probably would have been one of the hardest parts, is leaving without him.
Luckily, I mean, my whole family and Sonny's family did fly out to Vegas, and Southwest Airlines was awesome. They flew my kids to me, and they were very supportive. But the next day I had to go into our hotel room, which was actually Mandalay Bay. We were literally exactly 12 floors below the shooter, in the suite below where he was. And I could see the venue, and there were still bodies out there, and there was still debris out there. And I had to pack both of our suitcases to go home without him. And it was probably one of the worst experiences, ever. And then when we were there for a week because the coroner's office wouldn't release the bodies because there were so many.
Yeah.
We left, and Southwest was awesome, but they brought us down to the tarmac, and they had probably 100 employees and police officers and firemen there, and they draped his casket in a nursing flag and brought him on the plane.
Oh,
and
man.
They flew us all back home for free, and then we had a 2-hour police escort from the airport to Big Sandy. It was extraordinary.
I remember watching that because they streamed that on Facebook somewhere. And I remember watching that when you guys were coming back to Big Sandy and everything. And it's just, you were, like I said, you were an inspiration for a lot of us because you were that voice. And when we saw how strong you were when you came out of this, and I know that's when the choir just started putting stuff together. So after all this happened, something really, really cool though ended up happening. Well, actually, before I jump into that story, I have this picture I wanted to pull up. Something before that really happened after all this, but you guys went right before Route 91 and met Pete Rose.
Yep.
And
it was one of the titles. Yep.
He remembered it. I remember you guys and sent you something.
After Sonny's death, he said, "I remember meeting you and Sonny." He showed us, he pulled out a little piece of paper under that jersey he had signed for us, and it had his bets for the day on the college football. So
funny.
that was Saturday. That was the day before, and he showed us what he was betting on. So anyway, but yeah, he remembered Sonny. Sonny was that person that you didn't forget meeting. Yep. You just didn't forget it.
You would always know. He just kind of, he walked in the room was the light.
Yep.
Shined there on everybody. That's an awesome story about Pete Rose. But so you guys had Opry tickets. And for Eric was playing the Tuesday night, I think it was the Tuesday night Opry after Route 91. And you and Sonny had tickets and did not make it. There's 2 empty seats that was out there. But what he did, in your words, that song, I know it's tattooed on your arm now and it's forever going to be your song. And what do you think?
I mean, I was contacted by somebody in his camp to say, you need to live stream the show tonight, and I remember we had, my family and the friend I was staying with and Sonny's family had gone out to dinner just trying to get some semblance, and it was going on, and I left the restaurant to go watch it. And I wasn't able to see all of it, but people started sending me it, and I think nobody has ever put into words so perfectly how I felt, because I think anybody who survived that asked that question. Like, why did he die and I didn't? Why did this happen? And so, but for him to recognize that, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that somebody like Eric Church would take notice of somebody from Big Sandy.
Yeah. And I mean, that just, it speaks volumes of what kind of person he is. And that song, I mean, I know people are like, oh, I wish he would release, I wish he put it out there. I hope it stays at the Opry. I don't want that song to be played. Unless it's for you.
He can play it for me in my back.
Exactly. Unless it's for you. But other than that, I mean, I think it needs to stay there because that just was that song for that moment. And I think it will never be like that again, because I remember sitting in my chair listening to the Opry. I had headphones on and I was just started bawling. Like, I don't even think I made it to the song like he didn't. I mean, I was seeing Eric Church for, I don't know, since 2006, 160 some shows. I have barely ever seen that man cry. And that night when I heard it in his voice, I'm like, oh man, I just lost it too, because Eric is always, I mean, he always shows his tough side, but dude has a heart. And all
There's no
he did after that. I mean, the boots that you got, I mean, he personally wanted them over to him first so he could sign them for you. So with the tattoo, I'm going to show a couple pictures of the tattoo though. But what drove you to that? I mean, just kind of like, especially on the arm right there, knowing kind of the stigma tattoos still have today.
It's my first tattoo, and I was almost 50 years old, so it was a big deal. And my patients ask me about it all the time. They're not used to seeing their doctor with a tattoo on their arm, especially that big.
Yeah.
But you know, I felt like I had to do something really permanent to remember him, and that I would look at every day. And I wasn't sure what that was going to be. I started a lot with the like sun motifs and things like that. And then Eric wrote that song and it became obvious what I had to do. And, you know, everybody was like, oh, that's a big tattoo. It's going to hurt, you know? And I thought, you know, for what my husband went through, saving my life, I can handle getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
So it was my first tattoo. And I always said, I'll never get a tattoo unless it means something really important to me. And so that became obvious. And it was my first tattoo, and it'll probably be my last tattoo. Just because it means so much to me. I don't want anything to distract from that, you know?
Totally understand that. Yeah, I could definitely see that being, I mean, because like just looking down, like I remember when I got my church one on my arm, my parents were like, what the hell are you doing, this big black tattoo? But it's like, if you believe in something and something is so prominent to you, you got to do it. I mean, when I saw you do this, I was just like, this is amazing, because it was the exact same words, everything from the song. So that's why the way Eric wrote it.
I looked it up, the words and the lyrics on the YouTube video, and I said I want the same font. I wanted to look exactly like that. And so that's how we came to it. I was thinking a little tiny tattoo, but she said, I want the words to run together later. So.
Yeah, right. No, it's awesome. So I wanted to talk a little bit also about what Sonny still means in the town, because I mean, you were talking about how you had the big police escort on the way back and everything else, but Sonny was pretty prominent in the town already before all that. And I mean, the Melton name, I know you've told us before, was huge in Big Sandy. But what is the town just done still, or how do they still represent or respect Sonny?
I mean, it's still, you know, the Melton family is big here. His father and his grandfather were both mayors here, and he planned to someday be mayor. That was his dream. But the town still remembers him. There are still green ribbons around this town 3 years later.
Yeah.
They're still here. And they put them up every year on his birthday and on October 1st. You know, they're a prominent family. They were very well loved. You will not meet a person who didn't love Sonny Melton. So 2 things happened. We live in a county called Benton County, and we worked in a county called Henry County. So in Benton County, they named the bridge after him, which is the picture you have, the Sonny Melton Memorial Bridge. They had just finished building that bridge and then dedicated it to him. And then Henry County dedicated the highway between our house and where he worked in his name. So he has a highway and a bridge named after him. So, you know, and I drive both those roads quite commonly. So there's not a day that goes by that I don't see his name.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he'll always be with you. I mean, you know that for a fact. So it's always gonna be right there, and you're always gonna feel him around for sure.
Right.
And
I buried him on my property.
yeah, that's another thing I kind of want to go into a little bit about it. You guys started building this amazing and beautiful home. You went out and you guys picked out the land, and I mean, he gets to see it every day, but it's something that he never really got to spend a lot of time at. And
right. So yeah, I mean, it's 2.5 years, and literally I moved in 2 months after he died. He never got to be here.
I mean, we were there when we come down November,
right at Thanksgiving, and y'all came down.
Yeah, and I mean, you were just moving stuff in and everything, and kind of getting settled in and whatnot. But it was really cool when you did say that how you buried him out there and wanted to start there, because that was where you guys picked to live the rest of your lives together, was out there, and now you still kind of keep that to him, which is phenomenal. So I kind of remember the couple of times we've been out there, we kind of go out there and had a shot with them and hung out, and it's kind of our little ritual now.
Yeah. I mean, when you all came down here, I was still living in my old house, but this house was being built. And I mean, that was life-changing for me. It was you and Scott and Frazee and Rosie. And literally from that day, everything in my life changed. And in a good way, you know, I connected with people I would never have met if this didn't happen. So that has to be my silver lining, you know. And as most people know, Rosie's one of my best friends. And I love her to death. Like, we met and we felt like we'd been friends for decades.
Oh, yeah, you guys are two peas in a pod too.
My entire family has become my family, and like I said, my salvation. So you know, it was there's you always got to try to look for the good part of it, you know. And that day, that was life changing. But at the same time, you know, what happened was I moved into this big, huge house, and I was here by myself, and I was supposed to be sharing it with him. And it became very hard to be here by myself. There's a great Delta Ray song called No Peace and Quiet. And that was kind of what I lived by. I like literally couldn't stand for it to be quiet in my house, because it reminded me he wasn't here with me. And so every weekend I didn't have my kids, I was gone.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
We settled down a little bit, which is kind of good, you know, but you know, that was kind of that period in my life where, thank God, Eric was playing 2 shows every other week that I could go to, you know.
Well, I'm telling you, I know shortly, well, after we briefly mentioned it, but I want to go into, so when you first really got a hold of it, or when the choir really started reaching out to you, was shortly after Route 91. And then we had Texas, and we all went down there, and that's kind of where everybody really got to meet you, and everybody got to hang out and be together. And tell me a little bit, like, just kind of like what Texas meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a whirlwind to me. I mean, a lot of people that I had seen on Facebook and in the different groups, I finally was meeting, and I felt enormous support, because as soon as Sonny died, I started getting messages on Facebook from people all over the world, mostly choir members. And so I went to Texas with my parents and with Sonny's parents. And I mean, the love and support we got was almost overwhelming. And I kind of came home like emotionally exhausted from that. I mean, I felt like so much kindness, so much love, so much support from strangers I'd never met. It was amazing. But it was also like, you know, just like almost not, you couldn't comprehend it almost, you know. And it was a great experience, but it took me about a month or 2 to recover from that, because just you just don't understand how people can care so much about somebody they had never met.
Exactly. And I think like kind of like what we felt in the choir is we lost one of our own, and then we gained another one. It's like we lost one and we gained one when we gained you. And it was just so cool to just kind of put it all together and be able to raise so much money for the Sonny Melton Fund. And which you started. I want to talk about that. I'm going to share the link here in the chat for everybody. So if you guys are watching live or coming back as streaming, check the show notes. The link will be in the show notes. But we'll talk before we really dig into Texas. Let's talk about the Sonny Melton foundation and what they really stand for and what you do.
So immediately after he died, one scholarship fund was set up by the bank that Sonny's mom works for. And that was a scholarship fund to help students who are interested in going into nursing from our area go on to nursing. And I thought that was great. But the Sonny I knew was so much more than a nurse, so it was part of him, but there was so many things. Like, he loved this community and he loved kids and he loved hunting. There was and I thought, there's something else I need to do that will help people in this area. So I set up the Sonny Melton Living the Dream Foundation, because he always said, when people say, how are you doing, Sonny? He said, I'm living the dream. So it kind of became that catchphrase. And I set up that foundation not really knowing what we were going to do with it, but it was going to be something for the community where I live. I live in a very poor area, and he was very invested in this community. So it kind of started off with small things. We did Christmas, where we would find from the school teachers families that needed some help. And we would do everything from their food to their Christmas tree to their gifts to their electric bill, get their cars repaired, whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah, we would take care of them, and the parents too, so that everybody could have one. We pay their, their electricity bill or whatever they needed, and just have 1 month where they had some peace. So it kind of started small. As we started getting more funding into it, I was really I want to do something to make this community better. And I remember this so vividly, but it was the night of the shooting in Florida. I was falling asleep with my TV on, and I heard the audio clip of that shooting. And I thought, this is what I have to do. I have to make schools safer for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to the school boards in Benton County and Henry County, and I said, I want to help you protect our kids in case there's an active shooter. And we all think it's not going to happen in our community, but it can.
Yep.
So the next project, after a lot of church choir donations, was we started installing safety locks in the schools. And I would love to do it for the whole state if I can do it.
And those are the ones that they slide underneath the door, right?
So yeah, this is like a safety lock that the teachers can lock from the inside without having to go out, lock the door, come back in,
Mm-hmm.
fire safety passed. And then they also have a shade that goes down the window so that if a shooter tries to look in, they can't see where the kids are. So it's a real quick way to do it, but it also is safe in case there's a fire or something like that. So we went through several different companies. I kind of let each school pick what they wanted to provide for their students and their teachers. And we just kind of are going to go one school at a time.
Yeah. That is awesome. This is phenomenal work that you're doing. I seriously applaud you, because this is amazing. That's why I'm saying you're such a strong woman, because you just take this and run with it, because you want to make sure that, because you lost someone, you don't want other people that will feel that pain. You want to make sure that you could stop as much as you can. And I love that, because you're doing it all in Sonny's name. And that's the one thing you want the world to know. You want to know that name. And that's a name that people are not going to forget. So I love what you're doing with everything. So with that, we decided to go, and Scott Staples kind of took the reins and ran with it. And he planned this whole Texas weekend where we'd go down. He had buses that would take us to and from the hotel to the show, hotel with blocked rooms, amazing 2 concerts, a big party at a bar that Eric used to play at way back in like 2006, 2007. And it was all for Sonny and for the Living the Dream Foundation. And that's kind of like I said, you kind of came back overwhelmed, and you really got to meet a lot of people that weekend. And I just know it's kind of like where I really felt like it came at the right time, because it was after holding my own and after Vegas and all of this. It's kind of like all the ups and downs of 2017 we had, and then we had Texas, and it kind of really just have a new life. And that's why I felt like it was kind of like just amazing time where we all came together, and there was a shit ton of us too. And that picture that we all had from the lawn, I thought I grabbed it tonight, but I don't have it, where whoever photoshopped Sonny on the top of it. That was probably one of the coolest pictures ever.
Yeah. So it was amazing.
I grabbed it, but oh well.
I mean, like I said, it's to me about finding the positive, the light in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And the church choir was definitely my light.
Yeah. I know you like we talked about with Rosie and everybody else, you gained so many amazing friends during that. And you even got your kids have gotten to now meet Eric Church and some really cool moments. That I do want to bring up before we really move on. But tell me about where's this one here? Because you have a painting with this moment on it too. But Eric brought your daughter up on stage.
So yeah, that was in as we call now Wyoming. The people who are there will understand, but Serena, my little girl who kind of looks like a boy, everybody thinks she's a boy, but so that was the first time I had taken them to an Eric Church concert. And so they gave us meet and greet passes, which was really nice. They always put us at the end. So Eric spent a little more time with my kids and with me. And then Marshall said, would you guys like to come up on the stage to watch a show? And I thought my kids were going to faint. I mean, they were like, what, you know? And my little girl is super outgoing. So she went on that stage and she didn't stop dancing the whole show. I don't think she looked at Eric that much, but she was dancing with Catherine and Catherine's friend. And it was raining and pouring and gross that day. So her boots were all muddy and her socks were wet. And so she had taken her shoes off. And Catherine said, when these boots came on, she said, Serena, you need to come with me over here. Now, the setup there wasn't a way for him to walk out in the crowd anyway.
Yeah.
He's just standing at the side, waving her little boot with her bare foot. And he brought her out there on the stage. And I mean, 20,000 people were nuts. And here's this 8-year-old little kid just like, what is going on? You know? And she did a great interview with me afterwards about that experience. But he brings her back to me with this smirk on her face. He goes, I like the no sock. He said, that's rock and roll. Ended up leaving her with socks. So it was amazing.
That is so cool. Yeah, I know. I remember seeing that. And then Joelle, which is one of our sponsors I talked about, she did an amazing painting of this.
I mean, it literally looks exactly like the photograph.
Yeah, it's like so lifelike. So I just amazing work. If you guys have not seen any Joelle's work, you guys definitely check out Art on a Higher Wire. Amazing. So yes, another plug for him. But yeah, so it definitely everything became a family affair. So you have choir members. A lot of us will come and hang out every now and then at your place, which is a beautiful place.
Yeah, we just had some.
Yeah, go ahead.
We just had a party here with quite a few choir members from all over the country. So and
it's always fun, but you support a lot of up and coming singer songwriters as well. So I know you definitely had was it Erin Enderlin? I think you've had her before, and a few others play out there. But where is your love for just your passion for music still coming from now?
I like I said before, I mean, I think music just heals my soul, and it feeds me in a way that nothing else does. I really appreciate a good lyric and a good melody. And I don't have any musical skill at all, which like literally kills my heart, but I can appreciate it. And I like to promote those people who I think are good, who maybe not on the radio station. I actually don't listen to country music radio. But I've been introduced to a lot of new artists through my love of Eric Church and Chris Johnson and Jeff Brown, and whoever tells me like, listen to this person, you know, Rosie had me listening to Aaron, and it's just been a phenomenal journey. And so I like seek out my own kind of new artists, and living so close to Nashville, I see them all the time in various venues, and it's just, you know, so yeah, I got to meet Riley and Luke and, you know, some really cool people.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely some really cool stuff. I mean, but you also got to see, I mean, what happened that led to it is not something you wanted. You didn't want all that, but it's really cool now how you have all these artists that you come out or bring out, and they get to hang out, and the appreciation you have. So every year, I didn't do it last year, and I don't think I'm gonna get to do it this year, but I do an annual songwriters thing here at the house, and like I always tell them, my only rule is no covers. I want to hear your songs that you wrote. I want to hear the reason why you wrote them, and I don't want to hear no covers. If I want to hear a cover, I'll go pay a $10 cover at a bar or something. and do that. But so it's one of my things because I'm definitely want to hear the art of a song, and it's almost cool because sometimes you get the song, see the song or hear the song born right in front of you too, when if they're writing or whatever else. But I know when Lewis Bryce used to travel a lot, we kind of talked about it when he was on, but I always put him up here at the house whenever they come through. And it'd be like 3, 4 a.m. after a concert. He'd be having a few drinks out on the back porch, sun coming up, just singing songs. And I'm like, no, this is music. This is what I love about just live music and the rawness of it. And it's cool to hear like singer-songwriters sit down and really break down the songs.
Right. And it's kind of crazy because there's a guy in my town who's been in music for a long time. He's not famous, but he writes music, and he is also my patient. And he said to me, like, I need to sit down with you because the words that come out of your mouth and the feelings that you have need to be put into music.
Yeah.
And the two of us have written, I don't know how to write music, honestly. I wish I did.
No, but you know how to portray feelings, and then someone else could turn it in.
Things that I know I feel. And I think when music comes from that, it's so raw and it's so real that somebody can make it into a song, you know? And so, you know, it's just an art that I appreciate so much. And I wish I had more talent in it. I literally bought a guitar and I still don't know how to play it, but you know, it's just such an amazing, beautiful gift that I think most people take for granted.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think, especially after right now, with everything that's going on in the world, I don't think artists and musicians will take much for granted anymore, except for playing Wagon Wheel and Freebird.
Yeah. I don't want to do that anymore.
Right. But I really think, especially now, there's going to be a new love and passion for the arts, especially touring and live music and everything else. I think the passion is going to start at the top and go all the way down to fans. Because I know myself, for one, I'm definitely going to have a different outtake and different passion on live music, especially now. And I feel the same way when I first went out to eat again for the first time. So after our restaurant started opening back up and everything, like the first time I went out, I think I gave the waitress like a 40% tip or 35% tip because I felt bad for them. I've known they've been out of work and they haven't had anything. And I think that's going to be a lot I know people are doing auctions and everything else they can for road crew now, but I really think that's going to be a lot of us are just we're going to gather again. We're going to come storming out again and do these shows.
And my feeling is that live music is so much more than the music. You know, when we all join together in a concert, it's fellowship and it's memories and it's more than the guy standing on the stage. It's so much more than that. And we need that back in our lives. And the people who make that part of their life, there's a lot of us, you know, we need that back. I need to see my people.
Yeah, I agree. I need, as I said, I could be 20, 30,000. Just put me in the middle. Like, I am not a YouTube fan. I don't, if anybody out there likes YouTube, I'm sorry. I'm just not a YouTube fan, but I would pay to go to a YouTube show right now if that was the only concert I had to go see. Because I'm just ready to go back to live music and be around people again and feel that energy. Just the energy when you pack that many people together, and it's just amazing. No matter if it's in a dome or a stadium, arena, a big open field, wherever it is. It's just I want it again. I need it again. So
get-togethers here with some live music, and people, they don't care about this COVID stuff. They want to be together and listening to music, and they may not know the music that artists I have there playing, but they're still appreciated. You know, Brown was here, and I mean, it was an amazing event, and I think people felt normal again, which we need to feel normal.
Yeah, we do. I think a little bit of normalcy in anybody's life right now would not be a bad thing at all.
Right.
Before we start wrapping up, I know I briefly mentioned something about the boots earlier, but I want you to tell this story. So before we lost Sonny, he actually bought you a pair of these boots, right?
Right. So we were at the Holding My Own tour the second night in Nashville, and I think we might have happened on a few people that have now become my friends, but I think Joel was in front of us in line at that boots thing. But we were waiting to, he surprised me when we got there. He said, we got to do something before because I wanted to fit me for my boots. And we went there and picked out my boots. And that was in May. And in October, I still didn't have them. And honestly, I kind of just forgot about it. And I got a call from Eric's people and they said, your boots are ready, but if you don't mind waiting a couple weeks, Eric would like to sign them. I'm like, really? That's a problem. Like, yes, he can keep my boots for however long. And
just for a little longer.
Very, very sweet note. And I haven't worn those boots. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind of the things. Like, I got not Eric's boots, but I got a pair of just black snakeskin boots. I think they were. My wife bought them for me right before we got married. I wore them to my wedding and to my grandma's funeral, and that was it. So it's like you always get that one pair where you're like, okay, there's something to these. I cannot. I just can't do it.
That pair and the pair Serena got signed in Wyoming, they're never getting worn again.
Wyoming, does that have to do anything with Chicago?
No.
Oh, okay. Whenever we put shy in front of something around here, it means you're probably gonna get shot at. So
I have to say, she was so funny that night because she got a guitar pick from everybody, right? They had her on this.
That's awesome.
We're out and waiting for our Uber, and Serena's like trying to give her guitar picks to like Chris and David, and she's like, "Here, I'll probably get another one. You can have my pick." I'm like, "No, do not give your picks away."
That's funny. You were right because if she's trying to give stuff away, that's just it's like no, hang on to your stuff.
You can do that. No.
That is hilarious. So, all right, we're gonna play a quick game. I do it every week. It's called Hot Seat, where I ask you 9 rapid fire questions. We see how far you can get through them, and we try to do it in 60 seconds, but it never takes 60 seconds. But we'll see. So, if you could have a dream music crossroads episode, 2 artists, who would it be?
I think I said this before. I was like Eric Church and Godsmack.
Oh, that would be awesome. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Yes. Your first cassette tape you ever owned?
Sammy Hagar, 3-Lock Box.
Nice. All right. Would you rather a lake or an ocean?
Well, I live on a lake. I'm gonna go with lake.
All right. What's your biggest pet peeve?
That's a good question. Mask currently.
All right.
I would say people who don't know are 2, 2, and 2. Those kind of things. That kind of.
I'm definitely guilty of that for sure. All right. What's your karaoke song?
Oh shit! I can't sing. I've been in the stream.
Oh, there you go. All right. All right. What's your favorite Halloween costume you ever wore?
I did not wear the Joker, but I can't really say that. I don't know. Oh, the princess from Star Wars.
Ooh, Princess Leia?
No, it was like a newer one.
All right. Your dream venue and location to see a show. Preferably one you have never seen a show at. If you could anywhere you could see a concert, where would it be?
I mean, I've been to 2 places that were on my list, which was the Gorge and
Red Rocks.
Red Rocks. Yeah.
I knew Red Rocks would be up there.
My backyard would be really freaking cool, but
that'd be neat. All right, and then last one, an item on your bucket list.
I want to whitewater raft down the Grand Canyon on the Colorado River.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I didn't even think about that. Some whitewater rafting. That'd be fun. So we got 5 more minutes, or not even 5 more minutes. We got a couple more minutes, I think, before I got to wrap up. But I did want to, I wish we had more time for this. I was trying to really rush at the end. I want to talk a little bit kind of about your take on COVID right now, because you are getting silenced a lot, or you're getting messages where they're saying, hey, you're posting false info. But you coming from the medical field, I kind of want to know, what's your take on everything right now from a medical side of things?
Well, I have a couple. I mean, I am not directly treating COVID patients.
Yeah.
I'm in an area with a relatively small infection rate and 0 deaths. That being said, I think my point is that the fear, I believe it's real. but I believe the fear spreads faster and is more dangerous than the actual virus.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of misinformation about masks. You know, an N95 mask does help, but I tried to operate an N95 mask today and I couldn't do it. People are wearing dirty old masks over and over. I guarantee you there's more bacteria in there than you can imagine. The other issue I have is that there are doctors on the front line saying that very inexpensive treatment is available and very successful. And this drug has been around. I took hydrochloroquine as a kid to prevent malaria, and it's safe. And I just feel like that information is being squashed. And if it were me, I'm going to try it before I get on a ventilator.
Oh yeah. I definitely. I mean, I saw your post. I looked at my wife. I was like, "Hey, do we have that laying around?"
Yeah, why are those voices being silenced? I don't understand that. So that's kind of my feeling on COVID. I believe it's real. I believe it's deadly, but I don't believe it's worth destroying our economy and people's lives. I mean, people's lives are being destroyed. So,
well, one thing that's really, really getting on to me now and really starting to touch with me is the venues. All these live music venues that we might lose. I mean, if they can't keep their lights on or their heat on or anything else, these venues might be closing down. And where are we going to go to see these singer-songwriters that are testing out songs or have the newest hit that's coming out? Where are we going to go to see these things?
Right, we need those things. They need those things. These artists are literally, usually they're starving already, and now they've been shut down.
Exactly. So,
and it doesn't make any sense. My problem is there's no common sense in the policies that are being put out in front of us. And I think we need to speak up for that. And I may be persecuted and I may lose patience over it. I don't know, but I have a big mouth, like you said in the beginning, and I have a hard time keeping it.
You have a big mouth. I said you are a strong woman, and you like what you say. You will say it, and you stand by it. I love that about you because my wife and I were talking about it, and I really think and I felt like we're all big boys and girls. I mean, we're all adults here, and we should be able to make our own decisions when it comes to things like that. And I understand that some people, well, if we don't wear a mask, we can affect others. But I also think businesses should have alternatives. If you don't want to wear a mask or whatever, you could do curbside or whatnot. But if you want to go into a place and the store requires you to wear a mask, then you got to wear a mask. And that's just how I feel that should be. But I don't know because I'm not a doctor. So that's why I want to hear from medical. I don't.
Now is that healthy people, if people need to stay home and they need to shelter in place, that's fine. But people need to have a choice. And, if your risk and you choose to do that, that's fine. But they're really saying healthy people shouldn't be wearing masks because it's making them less healthy.
Well, I agree. I mean, I definitely, I'm not going to lie. I feel, especially after wearing the mask for 8 hours, 9 hours a day at work, and I've been doing it since all this quarantine started happening. Because I was essential worker right off the bat and pulled 10, 11-hour days a week or a day. And I feel like at the end of the day, like I could barely talk because like my throat would be so dry and like my nose would be like with my allergies and stuff. It's like I almost feel like the mask is making me feel like I'm crap at times. But,
right. Yes.
Oh, well, I just wanted to kind of get real briefly get a touch on that with you. I know we could sit here and go for another hour well, on that and other things, just because there's so many stories that you and I could sit here and tell, just because I know your love and passion for music for so long, and just kind of coming over and being part now of us and the choir. And someone's like, they're loving it, keeping it real. She did. I mean, that's why I love this girl. I mean, I told you guys, she speaks her mind. I love it. So
I just want
to go ahead.
I want to thank you to everybody in the church choir and all the people who reached out to me. I mean, literally, I feel like y'all saved my life, and I couldn't have gone through the last 3 years without you. And it's a good group of people. It's an eclectic group of people, and that's why I love you. And if you see me at a show, make sure you come say hi.
And buy her a beer. She won't say no to that. So thank you so much for spending an hour of your time with me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aaron.
All right. Take it easy, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Another amazing show, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I told you, I knew it. Facebook may pull the live feed down. I'm telling you, Lee, I hope they don't, because it was a fun show tonight. It was a good one. If Facebook pulls it down, I always have that. I don't know. I'll be all the streaming sites either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. But thank you guys once again for hanging out tonight and just checking out the show. If you guys did check out the show tonight, I really appreciate it. Go over. I'm going to share it once again in the chat and the feed. Go check out the Patreon page if you can. Tons of perks. They start at just $1. Any little bit helps. I'm 5 people away from my goal. If you guys can help me hit that goal of 75 people, that would be amazing. And like I said, I'm going to try to do something really cool. Maybe it'll be my August giveaway. I don't know. I haven't put the August giveaway together yet. I know I do have another Jeremy Spillman book, but we'll get to that eventually. But thank you guys again for hanging out tonight. Awesome show. Phenomenal. I'll be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m., which is the new time going forward. So thank you guys once again, and see you next week.
The Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver is brought to you by Arlo Revolution. As we close the book on another chapter, remember, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Next week, Aaron connects more melodies and memories with other fans and the artists they love. Thanks for being a part of this musical journey, and we'll see you next time on the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver.